Right, what up, people? It's your boy Chin from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is Eagle Eye, the transfer rumor show, where I talk to you about rumors and news surrounding the Arsenal. I hope you guys are all well. I know it's late. We're going to try and get through this quickly. So let's do it. I'll go through a few different stories and give my opinion on them. You know how we do by now. Please do me a favor and stick a like on this video first and foremost. I'd really appreciate it if you guys can do that. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, as we get this thing motoring and moving. All right, I guess there's only one place to start, so let's, without further ado, start with this young man, Lucas Torreira. So Lucas Torreira is the subject of a lot of speculation at the moment. This is a young man who we bought at the age of 23 in 2018. With a lot of high hopes. Someone was seen to be very tenacious. Someone who even I've been guilty of calling him potentially an Alexis Sanchez of the defensive midfield position. You know, we just saw someone who was small in stature but could just run all day. Was tenacious. Used to just kick people. You know, defensively very. I won't say sound per se, but it was always, I think it was his tenacity more than anything that I liked, you know, in the sense that when the ball was kept moving, he would also keep moving. He would seemingly follow the ball everywhere. And I liked that because we didn't have a player at the time, arguably we still don't really have a player like that now, where a player is in the face of the opposition. And I think that's what a lot of us seem to love about Lucas Torreira. Because although he wasn't, I wouldn't say he was an overly aggressive character, he was someone who you knew was at least going to have the responsibility of just kicking, tackling, and passing. And that, from what we could identify, was something that was very good about him. But I think slowly but surely, we started to see someone who didn't really understand tactics. And I personally saw that quite early under Unai Emery. Under Unai Emery, he would often go missing. This is before Unai Emery decided to weirdly play him as a number 10. He'd find himself up there anyway. It's like, bro, where are you going? You know? And I think more often than not, there were times where I think he lost his positional sense. And I started to question whether he was even that good. I really did. To the point then when Emery dropped him for Guendouzi, even though I didn't think it was a particularly smart move, I understood it. I understood that structurally, I could understand why that move is being made, because Guendouzi has better positional defensive sense. Whether he makes a tackle or not is another question. But defensively, he can anchor that team a lot better than Lucas Torreira does. And that was perhaps the thing that I realized I didn't like about him. Actually, he can't anchor a team. And that's a lot of the reason why he worked so well with Granit Xhaka, because Granit Xhaka allowed him to be able to do what he does best, which is just run. Run anywhere you want. Just make sure you're preventing that ball from being a danger. Whereas we know as Arsenal fans, I don't care if you're a fan of Granit Xhaka or not, that boy can't run. So he has to have someone next to him that's going to be able to do his running for him. And that was what Lucas Torreira was so good at doing, is so good at doing. We don't talk like he's dead, is so good at doing. And then something made me think to myself, oh, okay, like after his first year at Arsenal, we started hearing rumors about the fact that he was homesick. He hated the food here. His wife was homesick. And I remember at the time, I was like, you know what? Let him go. If you can get a high enough bid for him, let him go. And I remember people were screaming abuse at this channel like, what do you mean, Chig? I thought you knew football. Why would you let Lucas Torreira go? Because they couldn't let go of the tenacity side of things. And at that point, people were starting to, you know, we just got piped in the Europa League final. I think people were starting to have their doubts about Unai Emery. So I think people weren't really prepared to listen. Then we obviously entered Unai Emery's second season, which you obviously didn't see out because that was last season. And again, Lucas Torreira was not being used. Then Freddie had the opportunity to use Lucas Torreira. I think he used him in one match, and I think that was the FA Cup. I think that was West Ham away, where we actually won that game. But didn't really use him past the 4 games that he had him for. And then after that, obviously we're now in the Arteta era, and he doesn't trust him either. So there's something about him that clearly people don't like, don't rate, don't like. And I must admit, I'm one of those people who've never been particularly besotted with him. Initially, I was impressed just because he was something new, and I could see the value of him until I couldn't see the value of him anymore. And then we started hearing more rumors that he wants to go and this, that, and the other, and how he's desperate to leave. And obviously last summer he was very close to going, until supposedly we got involved and stopped that move from happening. Anyway, you guys all know this story. But it kind of just made me think to myself, well, maybe there might be an opportunity for us to make real use of him. But we can't seem to get past this price tag. No one seems to want to pay more than 25 million euros or so. We've had pretty much the whole of the Italian league are interested in him, from Torino to Fiorentina, everyone outside of basically Juventus. Napoli showed interest in him at one point. Keep in mind, Napoli wanted him in the first place when he left Sampdoria. Torino obviously has that manager of him that managed him while he was at Sampdoria, which is why they are one of the favourites. However, all of those teams have one thing in common. None of them can buy him outright. All of them are offering loans, £8 million loans with a significantly cheap obligation to buy at the end of next season. And then enter Atletico Madrid. Now, I must admit, I always felt like I heard these Atletico Madrid's rumours maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I thought to myself, I wonder if we can use him in a deal for Thomas Partey. Feels like it's a deal that makes sense for all parties. Like, I know Atletico Madrid were saying, we're not interested in swap, but surely you're just being pig-headed. If you want a player of ours, we want a player of yours, it just feels right that we do a deal like this. And yet, for some reason, we keep butting heads. It just doesn't seem to be a deal that ever seems to work. And then we're back to square one. But it was rumored on Friday that Diego Simeone actually made a personal call to Lucas Torreira in an effort to try and get him on board. And now Lucas Torreira seems to be quite a fan of the idea of joining Atletico Madrid. Why wouldn't you? They're a side with what do you think that I'm going to call it? They're a big side in my view, with a very good manager. I don't care what anyone tells me, with very good players, and I think he would suit La Liga. I really do. I think La Liga is his pace. Anyway, so he seems to be quite a fan of the move. Atletico Madrid have made a bid for him, but it's not the bid we were hoping or expecting for. You see, I think most people would accept that even if you don't necessarily give us Partey, make a decent bid for him. What they've offered is a loan with an obligation to buy, the same as the rest of the Italian sides. So Arsenal have flat out rejected that, according to Italian writer. Sorry, I promised I was going to quote him and I've lost the damn quote. Hold on one sec. According to Italian writer, here we go. According to Italian writer Matteo Pedrossi. Basically, according to this Italian journalist, he said Arsenal are willing to let Lucas Torreira depart before the transfer window closes if the deal is the right one for the club. That in itself was quite suggesting. Right one for the club, and the Argentinian and the Uruguayan has been attracting interest from Italy. It is Atletico Madrid who are now another potential destination for Torreira, though the Spanish giants have already tried their luck with the proposal. So seemingly we've already had some kind of offer, maybe before this weekend, that we are just hearing now. But from my understanding, that hasn't stopped Atletico Madrid's manager from contacting Lucas Torreira. So we do feel that this is ongoing interest. Now, there were rumours tonight that Atletico Madrid are thinking about a 25 million euro bid. The other flip side, of course, going back to the swap deal, the other flip side is the Thomas Partey ones. See, obviously, if you have Thomas Partey, then that deal suddenly becomes a little more interesting. And there's a potential proposal on the table for us to pay 25 million euros and give Lucas Torreira in exchange for Thomas Partey, which I guess would value Lucas Torreira at 25 million euros. My question to you guys is, what do you guys think? Is this a deal that you'd be interested in? I've been arguing all weekend because I know what people are like. People favor attacking signings. That is just what gets the juices flowing, particularly when you see someone like Chelsea buying everybody that's available. You see Liverpool. All right, they signed their version of Partey, if you like. They signed Thiago, who was pretty good today, by the way, in his game. You're seeing all these sorts of signings, and then you see Arsenal. The one thing that was missing in their performance against West Ham was, as I said to Lee, there's no control in the center of that part. There's no control whatsoever. You've got Granit Xhaka and Dani Ceballos. Yes, they anchor the side reasonably well, but actually what happens is they're not able to get on the ball a lot. So as soon as you pressure Granit Xhaka, he wants to get rid of the ball. Dani Ceballos, spinning cap, as a lot of people rightly call him, it really depends in what moment you catch a Dani Ceballos. Whereas someone like an Aouar, who I'll come back to, or a Partey will establish control, will get hold of the ball, will try and dominate the ball, because that's Partey's game. Partey's game is to win the ball, grab the ball, run with the ball, and try and make something happen. This is not a classic defensive midfielder in that case. It's not someone that just breaks up play and then immediately passes it to someone who can do something better with the ball. That's just look at any Partey highlight. That's what he does. Wins the ball, grabs the ball, dribbles the ball, tries to make something happen. We need that badly, in my view. And I think we need that actually more than an Aouar, who, yes, also can control the ball, also can make things happen, and isn't scared of a tackle himself. But I just feel like, for me, Partey is much better suited to what we need. Now, of course, what you want is both of them. I'm still struggling to believe we'll get them both, but maybe fan pressure might do something. I don't know. But for me, I feel like if this is a deal that we can do, I agree with what Archie said earlier in the chat when I saw him say, we got a long way to go. We've got a long way to go because Atletico Madrid apparently need to sell before they can buy. So that's why, to me, if they could come down from their high horse, forget buying Torreira, because we're only going to probably put it back in your pocket anyway. So come down off your high horse a little bit, swallow your pride a little bit, and let us just include a deal for Thomas Partey. You get your 50 million euros. It's just half of it is going to be in the form of a player that you want. So I don't know what you guys think. That's just my view. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right, let's talk about this young man, Shkodran Mustafi. Believe it or not, Shkodran Mustafi is the subject of interest from Lazio. Yes, Lazio are very interested in Shkodran Mustafi. This is a rumor from like a year ago, because I remember when they were interested in him a year ago. Obviously, since that year, to be honest, he's not had a bad season. To be honest, it still doesn't make me want to keep him because I know what he's capable of. But he's not had a bad season. and actually might have just restored some faith in certain interested parties that they may be getting not a complete shit show of a player. But Sokratis Mustafi is said to be of the interest of a 15 million euro bid from Lazio. What I say euro, what they want is that is Arsenal's asking price for Sokratis Mustafi, which is about 13.4, give or take, £1 million. Lazio want to lower that to somewhere nearer the region of 12. I'm going to be real with you. I'll take 10, to be honest. But again, I found this to be quite interesting. What do you guys think? Is this a deal that you'd be interested in? Again, leave it in the comments below. But for me, it's a no-brainer. I would take this all day long. Just further to my story about Lucas Torreira, sorry. Apparently, Atletico Madrid have resumed talks with Arsenal. Sorry, just going back to Lucas Torreira. So they've resumed talks with Arsenal. I'm literally reading this on like one of my several breaking news websites. So presumably what's happened here is that Atletico Madrid have had an inquiry. Maybe the papers have only just got hold of that inquiry. And, you know, news is broken that Arsenal have rejected the proposal. And what's happened is now Atletico Madrid have attempted to restart some talks with Arsenal. I think I speak for most Arsenal fans when I say this. Please let it result in Thomas Partey. Whatever conclusion you come to, please let it result in Thomas Partey. But what do you guys think? Again, let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Last story I'm going to talk about before I head up out of here, unless I'm missing any other. By the way, I know people have been asking me about this. I haven't got a Scooby-Doo what is going on with this geezer. Not a clue. Supposedly, he had some kind of medical on Thursday. Then they were repeating that he had a medical on Friday, which is not unusual. Usually, the press find out about the medical usually a day or two after the medical actually happens. But it's kind of gone cold on MIA since then. Arsenal just take their time announcing these things. Now, I think the plan is for Runnison to be the number 2 for this season. Notice I say this season. I guess to see how good he is and then go from there. The long-term goal is to have Mr. David Raya, who, if I'll find a picture of him, this young man, as the number 2 moving forward. None of them I think are as good as Martinez, but you know how I feel about that. Martinez has left. Good luck to him. I can't be asked to keep moaning about it. But as things stand, there's no further development on Runnison, so I have no idea what's going on. The other thing I wanted to talk about very, very quickly is this young man who was seemingly out the door, but obviously came on yesterday during Kieran Tierney's injury before the game. Had a classic Kolasinac performance. You take that however you want to take it. And now there are rumors that Arteta has flat out told him, you could leave. Straight. Like, you can go. I'm not fussed if you stay or not. You can go. So the expectation is that Kolasinac will complete his move to Germany within the next few days. Remember, Schalke are interested in him, as are Bayer Leverkusen. I'm hoping to start seeing some traction on this over the next week or so. So I would say keep an eye on this one. I suspect something may happen here next week. Speaking of exits, this is really the final story I talk about today. I just saw his picture, which means I've probably lost it now. And that is this young man, Sokratis. So Sokratis, this one could be a deadline day situation. So you're probably sat there thinking, why? So Sokratis' deal to Napoli apparently has been verbally agreed. The problem with it, though, is that it is tied to Koulibaly leaving for some weird reason. I guess they feel like they won't have money to complete the deal unless Koulibaly leaves. Sokratis, meanwhile, is desperate for Arsenal to agree to, cancel his contract so that he can just join Napoli anyway, which from Arsenal's perspective, why would they do that? It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's where they are. That's where they're at the moment with Sokratis. So I would say don't panic too much about the Sokratis thing at the moment. This one could rumble on and on and on. I just realized I teased you guys. I said this was the last story, and I just realized I've not talked about this geezer, and that is Houssem Aouar. So Houssem Aouar is obviously the priority for, I would suggest, not just for Arsenal, but for you lot. Obviously, he's a fantastic player. You guys have seen me bang on and on about Houssem Aouar for a long, long time. Excellent, excellent player. Colorado, I've seen your donation. I'll come to that in a second, my bro. And I've seen your donation, David. Thank you both for that. I'll come to your donations in a second. But yes, in terms of Houssem Aouar, he is apparently said to have verbally agreed a contract with Arsenal. Not only is he verbally agreed, allegedly, a contract with Arsenal, he did this 2 weeks ago. So, which wouldn't necessarily surprise me, only in the sense that now we know that he wants to come to Arsenal. It wouldn't surprise me because there used to be a thing back in the day where teams got mad at other teams tapping up their players. Now it just seems to be an accepted thing. Oh, well, we're interested in you, so let's have a preliminary discussion about what you'd want to be paid. Supposedly, they've had the same agreement with Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey wants 200k a week. Arsenal are kind of like, yeah. Houssem Aouar apparently wants something in the region of £150,000 a week. Arsenal are like, all right. So apparently, from a verbal standpoint, contracts have been agreed. So hopefully, negotiations shouldn't take with the player at least won't take long. Given in mind, we've got 2 weeks left to complete the deal. We've got a lot of exits to do and 2 players to bring in, supposedly. I'm preparing myself for disappointment. I would suggest that you guys do as well, because this is Arsenal. But we've got 2 weeks until the transfer window. Let's just see what happens. For me, you guys know I've said this before, I'll say this again. Aouar is the player I want. I just think he would add much more to the team than Aouar. As much as I like Aouar, as much as I think as he has all the attributes to be our version of De Bruyne, that's how good I think he is. I'm just not I just feel like we've missed a player like Partey for far longer than we've missed a player like Aouar, in my personal opinion. But it is what it is. What do you guys think? Almost 200 people watching at Gone Midnight. Madness. Please do stick a like on the video. Hit that subscribe button. Now, I'm not going to stay too long in the chat room, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to address these 2 donations that have come in, that have very kindly come in. One from David. Thank you, my brother David. We'll give you Carrera, Lamar, Vitolo for Laka. I don't think Laka will go anywhere. Laka, there's no real developments with Laka. Arteta came out and said that Laka hasn't been offered a new deal. But in my mind, I'm like, well, why would he be offered a new deal? So we'll see what happens. I personally think that the Edouard deal won't happen until next year. I don't think he's leaving Celtic until next year. But there's no real development on the Laka situation either. But thank you for your donation. And I'm going to say no thanks. I'm going to say no thanks. And Mr. Colorado, big up to you, Colorado. I ain't seen you in a minute. I had my yearly physical yesterday, and I'm good to go. I'm number 2 keeper now. Oh, there you go. AKA Mr. Runnison is Colorado Gooder. There you go. That solves the mystery. Oh dear. Big up to 200 people watching. Please do hit the like button on this video. Always helps the show get noticed when you lot crush that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. I am 910 away from 10K. Fully on the road to 10K now. So if you guys can help me get there, I would greatly appreciate it. This is from Nathaniel. Big up to you, Nathaniel. Aouar can easily change minds, you know. Arsenal, hurry up. Exactly. Exactly. You know, especially if City are feeling froggy in that last week and Aouar is still messing around with Arsenal, they might just put in a sneaky bid. Which I think that's what Leon are hoping will happen. Yeah, Leon are crafty, you know. This is what I'm trying to say. Arsenal, they need to not do this nickel and diamond penny pinching shit. Just go in there and pay the thing. You know, even if it's over 10 years, just pay the thing. Havertz, a £72 million flop. Let's laugh at Chelsea. No chance. No chance. I'd give Havertz a year and a half to 2 years, and he'll show his value. No chance. I've been saying Havertz is good, so there's no way I'm taking a piss out of Chelsea. My bad, Chig. Been busy recently. You are 7 hours ahead of me. Yeah, that's true. That is true. West Side? Or you Midwest? I never know how it works. Chig, what about your heritage Woodley? First of all, Archie, don't even try it. That is you heard Will say, you already heard Ola say that Woodley is Ghanaian. Have it right. Aouar don't owe us nothing. Exactly. He doesn't. He doesn't. Havertz is not a flop. Exactly. Aouar is more like Hazard than De Bruyne. I could see why you say that because I think he runs more than De Bruyne. But I think he would have a similar sort of role in the team that De Bruyne has. So I know De Bruyne sometimes plays on the right, sometimes plays in the centre. I can see Havertz playing in the centre, maybe sometimes playing on that left-hand side. So yeah, I could see him having a similar influence in the game the way De Bruyne does with City. Because I think that's what Arsenal are looking for. Colorado is not Midwest. All right. I don't know where Midwest is, so I didn't want to miss them out. I know Midwest is like Chicago, that type of area, right? Am I right? Gosh, I hope I'm right. So yeah, I'm not American. Leave me alone. Any news on Zangara, Chig? Nope. No news on Summary either. Sangara, I think, will end up abroad. Probably Inter are showing the most interest in him. So I can see him being there. He won't cost much. So I could see that. I could see him ending up there, to be honest. All right, 3 more minutes and I'm out of here. David, yeah, I'm okay. I'm better now. I feel better than I was yesterday. You know, during that watch along, probably saw me going. I had a better night's sleep yesterday, which I think helped. So the cough is still there, but it's deeper down now. Colorado is a mountain. It sounds beautiful, but it also sounds cold as well. Arsenal should focus on Aouar than any other defensive midfielder. I completely disagree with you. But we're allowed to disagree. For me, Partey should be the focus. That should be the number one focus to me. Then if you can get Aouar, Aouar's a brilliant bonus that I would have on. But I think if you're going to fail on signing someone, I'd rather fail on the guy that is going to provide us goals than the guy who's going to prevent them. That's been our biggest problem. Scoring goals has not been our problem. Yes, we could do with more creativity. I won't deny anyone that. But let's be real here. The thing that has caused us problems is leaking goals. Look how many opportunities we leaked yesterday. That you will never get me to. It's just people favor attacking signings, so that's why people hope that Aouar is the priority. And fine, if that's your objective, no problem. But if you're talking legitimately from a tactical point of view, there's no way you can hope that we sign the offensive guy over the defensive guy. Doesn't make no sense. So it's more West Coast. Greetings from Chicago. Thank you, Seba. I was waiting for Colorado to answer that. What did Nippon say? Oh, there you go. Colorado's answer. Yes, we're West Coast culture. But you don't consider yourself West Coast by the sound of it. Partey and Aouar should both be the focus. Yeah, okay. No problem with that. But this is Arsenal. Do you think they're going to pull off both? Genuinely, I have my doubts. That's why I think if you are going to focus on one, focus on getting the defensive guy who's declared from months ago that he wanted to come to the club. Focus on that guy who's going to help preventing goals. Because every year we talk, guys. Every year we have one of these transfer shows, and it's because Arsenal have had a particularly disappointing time with a year where they've leaked too many goals. And every year you lot talk about defenders. And guess what? Every year Arsenal buy a defender. You notice that happens? And our luck does not improve. How about one time we actually bring in a midfielder who is defensively sound, who's a type of midfielder we've not had in ages. You know, don't get me wrong, he's not the tallest, he's 6'1", but just an imposing midfielder who, guess what, can actually kick ball a little bit. To me, it's a no-brainer. I don't even understand what the debate is about. Let's try something different. Bring in a defensive midfielder that's actually capable. Yes, you guys know this. I love Aouar. If you have any doubts that I don't like Aouar, my video series, Chid Knows Best, I do it on midfielders. It's in my playlist, right? Aouar, spoiler alert for that video, Aouar is the one I choose. And I list a bunch of attributes as to why I like him so much as a player. But that list was not a defensive midfielder list. Because if you had to ask me honestly, who would I pick? You guys, even before we made a signing, you guys said to me, if Arsenal can make one signing, who would it be? I said, Partey. You know why? Because he's the one player that instantly will improve our fortunes. Even if you kept every crap player that we have, he would instantly make a difference to that team. Instantly. Whereas Aouar, in my personal opinion, is going to have to find his pace. He's going to have to find the team. He's going to have to get used to the league. There's a lot of shit he's going to have to adjust himself to. Whereas I think Partey, will slip in. Yes, he will still need to adjust to the league in a different way, though. Because to me, he's a guaranteed starter, so he slides in that team. Even if you want to play him with Granit Xhaka, okay. But he slides in that team. And defensively, he improves us so much. So much. But if Arsenal are really about this life, they look at Everton, who, by the way, are joint top with us all of a sudden, right? They look at Everton, they think, fuck, Everton completely rebuilt their midfield. They ain't got a Sigurdsson who, yes, is good on dead set pieces, but that motherfucker can't run. So they took him out. They took out all their midfielders and they said, cool. You know, I don't particularly rate James Rodriguez, but cool. They got James Rodriguez in. They got Decore in. And they got Alan in. Now, you know, little secret here. Hopefully nobody from my boys are watching. Alan is racking me points in my Sky Sports Fantasy League team. And I got money on that one, so I'm trying to concentrate on that one, right? He's racking me points. If Arsenal can just look at that example and think, all right, cool, let's rebuild our midfield. There ain't no way we finish 8th. I think we can all agree with that. Now, how high we finish, debate all day long. But if you bought those two in, there ain't no way Arsenal finishes 8th. No chance. So we'll see what happens. All right. Well over 200 people watching. Don't know when that happened again. Please do stick a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm going to head up out of here, guys. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for how active you are. Continue being active in the comments, because I do reply to most comments. So please do continue being active in the comments. Share the video around as well. I'll be back tomorrow. It'll be a bit earlier, I promise. Probably around 10, something like that. And yeah, I'm out of here, guys. Enjoy your night. Good luck. It's Monday. Take care. Peace.